Alright, so hello everybody, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to talk about two setups that I've put together and I've been playing around with them, and they're both using two of the new arcanes that were added to arbitrations. So let's take a look at the first one. Now the idea here is pretty simple, and it should also work on whatever kind of frame with whatever kind of setup, as long as you survive whatever you're fighting. That's the most important thing here. So what we're doing is comboing two of the new arcanes. Arcane Primary Charger, which at maximum rank gives you a 20% chance on a melee kill to increase your primary weapon damage by 200%, and sort of the opposite of this, the Arcane Blade Charger, which at maximum rank gives you a 20% chance on a primary weapon kill to increase your melee damage by 200%. Another piece of kit you're gonna need for this is the Zenistar, because what we're gonna do is throw the Zenistar disc, which is gonna kill stuff and feed damage via Arcane Primary Charger to our primary weapon, in this case the Tsar, and we're then gonna kill stuff with the Tsar, which is gonna feed damage to the Zenistar disc via Arcane Blade Charger. And this, if executed properly, can give you a ton of damage without using a single mod slot. Now the best way to keep both of the arcanes active from experience is to simply throw the Zenistar disc into one choke point and then bombard the second choke point with your primary. And it is way more reliable if you're playing the mission solo, because if you have three other yahoos running around killing everything, chances are you won't have the chance to have both of them up at all times. Or, you know, as close as you can get it to having permanent uptime. Now you could also just throw the Zenistar disc and then bombard the same spot with your primary, but most of the time your primary is going to be a lot stronger than the Zenistar disc, so it's also going to get most of the kills, which means you won't actually get the primary bonus from the primary charger all that often. Also, you don't have to use both of them at the same time, because it's kind of hard to get them. You either need to grind arbitrations for a while, because you need 10 of each to get them to maximum rank, or you need to dish out a lot of platinum, because at the moment on PC, the fully ranked versions go for about 1000 plat. So if you don't feel like you want to grind or buy both, you can just use one, though the effect is of course not gonna be as good as if you do have both. So as the first setup, now let's talk a little bit about the second one. Now this one does not require the Zenistar, but it does require either Wukong or Wukong Prime. Because as it turns out, your Celestial Twin can actually proc both of these arcanes if you give it the right weapon. Now this one is far better if you're the one using the melee and your Celestial Twin is using the primary weapon, because the Celestial Twin just isn't very good with a melee weapon. And now what you want to do is give your twin your strongest AoE primary weapon, and you want to give it an AoE weapon so that it can just sort of fire it randomly and it will still kill stuff. And as far as the melee weapon is concerned, it doesn't really matter, but if your twin is proccing status on the enemy, it's a good idea to run Condition Overload so that your twin is getting you two damage bonuses, the first one from the arcane and the second one by proccing status on the enemy, which you're capitalizing on with Condi Overload. Now this setup is, I don't know if I would really call it more flexible, because most of the time you will be using melee, because as I've said, it's not a good idea to let your Celestial Twin do melee because it's just not very good at it, and you will be running Wukong, but at least you don't need a login reward weapon. I personally like this one a lot more because it's just more active than the other one, which is far more defensive because you kinda need to bunker down and exploit choke points. But I also know that a lot of people like the Tsar Zenistar combo. It is a very solid combo, and this just makes it stronger. Now, this setup, just like the first setup, does not need both of the arcanes to be good, but it's better if you do have both. However, if you can only afford or are willing to farm one of them, pick the one that you're gonna give to your twin. Okay, so if it's using a primary weapon, give it the Blade Charger, and if you wanted to use a melee weapon, give it the Primary Charger, so that you are getting the buff, not your twin. And that's pretty much all there is to say about this. It's just a neat interaction that I thought you might find interesting, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video and you will have some fun with this, and I will see you some other time. Bye bye.